Okay, so this is what it looks like. So before we get to the land, we have a little side mission that we need to take care of. Earlier this week, Elijah called the local water company, and so not too far from our property, there is a water station where you can fill up. And so he was able to call them and find out if they had any spots available where we could gain water from. And luckily they had one hookup left that has not been claimed by anybody. So we are on our way to meet the tech so that they can remove the water company's lock, and then we can put our own lock on it. So it's the way that the water fill-up station works out here is that there are like little, have you seen like in people's houses where it's like a little box in the ground, and under the box is where all the water is? It's like one of those, but it's a bunch of those, and they're surrounding a pipes coming out of the ground. And what happens is you have one of those and you have your own personal lock, so when you go to fill up, you take the lock off, you turn the water on from that area, and then that's how they're able to meter how much you're using, and then you hook up to the hoses, and then you have access to water. So water was one of our infrastructure things that we needed to get done to prepare us to move on the land. So now we have somewhere to live. We also have water. Next thing that we're going to be working on is getting ourselves power. So we're almost here, so we'll go ahead and show you guys what everything looks like. Okay, so we showed up at the water place, and we waited about 10 minutes, and the tech hadn't showed up yet. So Elijah went and called the company, and supposedly he is an hour out because of an emergency that came up. So Elijah and I think that either they didn't communicate to him the 9 o'clock time frame, or he just forgot. We're gonna go head over to our land, and we're gonna drop off some supplies so we can get them out of the car, and then in about an hour we're just gonna head back over and see if he decides to show up or not. So hopefully he does, because we need some water today. Okay, so this is our water station. This is where all the water comes out, and then everybody has one of these little thingies, and then we have a key that goes to the lock that's on them. So basically, if we turn these on, no water's gonna come out until we actually turn on our spigot. Okay, so we are done getting water, and just like that, we have access to water out on our homestead. Okay, so each of the boxes has like a little meter on it, and then that tells you how much water that we use. So that's pretty accurate because we just filled up about 10 gallons of water. Okay, so we're going to be finishing the last few feet of our footer for our 56-foot section of the wall today. And then once we get that done, we also brought some more rebar, so we're going to put the rebar in there as well. And then once we get that done, when we're ready, we are good to go and start laying more bricks. Okay, so this is the footer that we set last time. So it's curing, well, it cured very nicely. And then these are how we capped off our rebar. So this is Gorilla Tape. It's like super heavy duty, thick Gorilla Tape that's on there. So basically, you know, it protects all the sharp edges on there. So we put those on all of these, but it pretty much cemented in very nicely. Like, it's not going anywhere. This footer is not going anywhere, and it was a lot easier this time for us to put the rebar in before we poured the concrete. It just made things a lot easier, but yeah. So pretty much we're gonna follow the same method that we did the first time that you watched the video. Just this time we have to do a lot less of it. So we're going to take our blocks that we have, we're going to leapfrog those down so that we know where we need to put our rebar in at. That information I still have up here, and then we will hammer in our rebar, and then we will get the concrete mixed and start pouring it in. So our last concrete bucket broke the last time that we were out using it. So I did end up finding this jumbo tub. It was a game changer for us. We could mix a full bag of concrete in it and not have to worry about space issues. I'm pretty sure we can fit about 3 bags in this thing alone, but it made mixing so much easier where we could mix in bigger batches. Okay, so we are officially done with our 56-foot footer. The rest of it only took us an hour to do it. We're getting very quick at this. But from the time that we started cutting the rebar until we poured the last bit of concrete and got it smoothed out, it only took us an hour. So we are happy to be done with that, because the next time that we have to touch concrete will be a while from now, when we do the middle section, which will be the last of our block wall section. So yay, we are officially done with concrete for at least maybe a month, and then we'll start on the other part of the fence over there where we have to dig a whole nother trench. But I'm going to go ahead and give you an overview of what this looks like, and then after I give you an overview, I'm going to be attaching more of the Gorilla Tape onto the top of the rebar so that we don't leave them exposed, and so we can get them covered up until we get the blocks built up over them. So let's look at the footer. Okay, so this is the footer that we took care of today. We just have to take this board out. We're going to let it set up a little bit more before we rip the board out, but it goes all the way down there, and then of course you can see what we poured today versus what we poured last time we poured concrete. But we have all of our rebar in, and so we have our longer rebars here. Everywhere that you see a rebar is going to be a pillar, and then we did 2 rebars on this end and then also on that end, because this is going to be the corner pillars. We aren't going to have anything attached to it. Eventually I'll have to show you guys the design that Elijah and I came up with for our gate system. So it will be the same design for both our gates, but just to have the corners reinforced a little bit more, we did 2 rebars, and then we have the little mini rebars that will be the lower section of the block wall, and then we also have taller rebars. So in total we'll have 8 pillars going across this entire section. So let's go and take an up close look at it. One thing that's different from last time is that it is a lot hotter outside today, and so the concrete, this first half that we started, gave me a lot of trouble because with it being so much warmer, the concrete was setting up super fast on me and was hard to move on here. So what we ended up doing is, for the rest of this section, Elijah added more water so that it could be a little bit thinner of consistency, so that it wasn't as thick. And so once he did that, it was so much easier going this way, so that contributes to why we were able to get it smoothed down so fast. But overall, we've been putting off doing this section of the wall for a very long time, because it seemed very daunting when you think of 24 feet on that side versus the 56 feet on this side. But you could tell the differences in our skill level when doing this side, which made it a lot easier, so it didn't make it as bad. But if we had started with the 56-foot section first as our first concreting job and our first block wall job, I'm pretty sure the rest of the wall would not be blocks. It'll probably just be posts being stuck in the ground. But doing the smaller section first definitely broke us in and allowed us to figure out what needed to be done and what we were doing. So now this side should be easy, smooth sailing, because I think we are semi-pros, if I do say so myself. But yeah, I'm going to go ahead and get you guys set up, and then we are going to be attaching some tape. I'm not sure if you guys have ever used this Gorilla Tape before, but this tape will pull off your fingerprints. So it's great tape if you really need something heavy-duty duct tape. Okay, so now that all of these are covered up, what we're gonna do next is we're gonna be attaching some more lights to our 3 corners. We would do 4 corners, but as you can see, this one doesn't have blocks on it yet. So we're going to be attaching some lights on our 3 corners that we have, and then we also have a another light that's going to be going on each side of the gates. Since we only have one of those 4 pillars set, we're just gonna go ahead and attach that one because it will help out when we are out here later. It will just give us a little bit more light. So we're gonna head to the other side of the property where the 24-foot wall is, and then I'm gonna give you an up-close view of our lighting situation because they are very cool and they're all solar powered as well. Okay, so these are the lights that we found and we picked out to go on each side of our gate post. And so they're just black, they're metal with a simple bulb, and they open up. And then they'll end up sitting flat against the pillar like this. And then it has its 2 little anchor points. And then this is solar powered, which is great. So it will auto charge by itself, so we won't have to worry about that for a while. But we figured that having one of these on each side of the gate openings would be so cute. So we do have 4 of these right now because we bought them all. We didn't want them to run out because since they are a low stock item, we didn't want to miss out and only get one and then we can't find the other 3. So we got these for both sides of the gates. And then we got these. And then we got these for our 4 corners. So these are solar powered as well. They are little tiny fence lights. And then these ones are motion censored. So this little thing here is motion censored. So with this one, I think it's 600 lumens as a whole. The other light is only 15 lumens. So what will happen is that once it gets dark, the lights will turn on. And then once it senses motion, the lights will end up brightening. And then once the motion is gone, it will start dimming. So we figured that this would be great to have on all 4 corners just for safety reasons, because that's how people would be coming towards and away from our property. So it will at least signal and let us know that, you know, that there's somebody over there. And then eventually once we move out here, we'll get some cameras once we're fully fenced in and all that stuff. But these are very pretty lights. I don't know if we'll be out here late today to see them turn on. It took us about 2 or 3 weeks before we saw our post light that we attached actually on and in action. And then that's when we saw those, we were like, okay, let's get some more lights up soon. So I think Elijah is starting over there. So let's go find him and we can drill some holes. So these lights did come with the screws and some anchors to mount it in with, but I'm pretty sure that those were for wood and also for drywall. So we went ahead and we used the concrete screws. They're the same screws that we use to attach the frame, but since the end of the concrete screw is a lot bigger than the screws that came with the lanterns, even though we got them lined up nicely, they would not go through the holes properly. So running into that situation, we did have to make some modifications to the back of the lights. Okay, so that is what it looks like once it is attached. We're gonna let it charge up a little bit and then we will see how it lights. we are pretty much done for today. That is all that we have left to do. The lights were the last thing to do on our checklist. So we hope that you guys enjoyed this video, and we will see you in the next one. Bye.